If you want to change your life and attract real success, you need to understand the simple actions that create powerful results. Success isn't about luck or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about the choices you make every day and the habits you build that lead you closer to your goals. Imagine waking up each morning with clear purpose, taking control of your time, and pushing forward even when things get tough. This video will share straightforward, practical steps that you can start using right now to shift your life towards success. These are not complicated ideas or vague advice. They are proven actions that anyone can apply. Stay with me, and you'll learn how to build momentum, stay focused, and create lasting progress, no matter where you are today. This is about taking responsibility for your future and turning your dreams into reality. Let's get into what it really takes to attract success into your life. Number 1, wake up early and plan your day ahead. Most people sleep through their lives, not just at night. They sleep through opportunities. They sleep through potential. They sleep through growth, and not because they're lazy, because they've never been taught the value of owning the start of their day. Waking up early is more than getting out of bed before sunrise. It's about claiming the one thing that too many people give away without a second thought: control. If you wait for the day to come at you, it will. If you wait for life to hand you direction, it won't. You've got to get up while the world is still quiet, while the noise hasn't kicked in, while everyone else is still trying to decide whether they'll take today seriously. That's when you gain the edge. That's when you show life that you're in charge, not just floating through it. Getting up early is your first win of the day. It's a simple thing, but it tells your mind and your body that you're not here to follow. You're here to lead. If you wake up late, you're already behind. Your schedule is controlling you. Your responsibilities are dictating your actions. But when you wake up early, you create space. You build margin. You gain clarity. And don't just wake up early to scroll through your phone or sit around thinking about how tired you are. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about waking up early with purpose. Waking up early with a reason. You sit down and decide what your day is going to look like before anyone else has a chance to shape it for you. You don't need a long, fancy morning routine, but you do need time to think, time to prepare, time to plan. Planning doesn't mean writing a long to-do list that you'll ignore by noon. It means identifying what matters. It means choosing what to focus on and what to let go. When you plan your day ahead, you protect your energy. You say no to things that don't matter and yes to the things that move you forward. And don't underestimate the power of writing things down. When you write it, you own it. It's not a thought anymore. It becomes a target. And when you have a target, you don't wander. You act with direction. Planning your day means you decide what's important before the noise of the world starts shouting at you. The people who attract success aren't lucky. They're disciplined. They know that how they spend their first hour determines how they'll live the rest of the day. That first hour is sacred. It's yours. And if you keep giving it away to sleep or chaos, you'll keep losing control of your future. Waking up early also gives you space to listen to yourself. Most people don't even hear their own thoughts anymore. Their days are filled with noise, their minds filled with worry. But in the quiet of the morning, you can ask yourself what really matters. What do you want to become? What kind of life are you building? Are you proud of how you're living? These questions don't come to you during rush hour. They come when it's still and you're honest. The earlier you rise, the more life you gain. You stretch your time. You expand your potential. You remove the excuse of not having time. Because you do. You just haven't claimed it yet. And the earlier you get serious about your life, the more your life starts to work for you instead of against you. Now, waking up early might not feel easy at first. Your bed will call you back. Your old habits will try to convince you that you deserve to rest a little longer. But remember, the comfort you're choosing in that moment is costing you a better life. Every extra hour of sleep you take without reason is an hour stolen from your goals, your growth, and your greatness. Planning your day ahead gives you purpose. It helps you face the day with intention instead of confusion. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll fall into the agendas of others. You'll waste your time. You'll stay busy without being productive. But if you start the day knowing what matters, you'll have the power to say no. You'll have the clarity to focus. You'll move through your day with confidence instead of frustration. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. You might not get it right every day, but if you keep showing up early and setting your direction, you'll begin to notice something. Your life starts changing. You'll be calmer. You'll be more productive. You'll have more energy, not less. Because success isn't found in big moments. It's built in small choices, repeated daily. Waking up early trains your mind to value discipline. It tells yourself, I am responsible. And when you do that often enough, your confidence grows. You stop doubting. You stop waiting. You start acting. You begin to believe you can handle more because you've shown yourself that you can. And when other people see you taking control of your mornings, they'll take notice, not because you're trying to impress them, but because discipline is rare. Purpose is rare. Planning is rare. And people are drawn to those who are serious about where they're going. That's how you attract success. Not by hoping, not by luck, but by proving through your actions that you are ready for it. Waking up early doesn't mean you don't get ready. It means you respect your time enough to use it wisely. It means you stop treating your goals like they're optional. It means you stop waiting for motivation and start depending on structure. You have to realize that your life is not going to change by accident. It's going to change when you change, when you shift your habits, when you own your hours, when you begin your day with seriousness instead of randomness. Every single day, you're making a decision, whether you realize it or not, about who you are and who you're becoming. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, don't ask if you feel like getting up. Ask yourself what kind of life you want to live. Ask yourself what kind of example you want to set. Ask yourself if you're ready to step into control, or if you're willing to let another day run you. That decision, repeated over time, will shape everything. Wake up early. Plan your day. That's how you start attracting success into your life. Not someday. Not maybe. Today. Now. This morning. It begins the moment you decide you're no longer okay with average. It begins when you take yourself seriously. Number 2. Focus on one clear goal every single day. If you want success to become part of your life, then you have to stop scattering your efforts. You can't keep chasing 5 different outcomes and expect to master any of them. The truth is, clarity builds direction. You must give yourself one clear objective every single day. Not 5, not 3, just one. That's how you begin to move with power instead of confusion. One clear goal means you don't start your day wondering what matters. It means you wake up already knowing what must get done, and you structure your energy around that task. The mind gets overwhelmed when it's forced to juggle too many things. But when it has one mission, it becomes focused, sharp, and effective. When you simplify your focus, you multiply your results. Now, most people don't fail because they're not working. They fail because their work is going in too many directions. You can be busy all day and still be stuck, still be broke, still be frustrated. Busyness is not the same as progress. If you want real progress, you have to choose one specific result to produce each day. That becomes your anchor. Each day, ask yourself, what's the one thing I must complete today that will move me forward? Not what's urgent, not what's noisy, but what matters. One action that, if completed, will bring you closer to where you want to be. That becomes your standard. That becomes your direction. It doesn't have to be a massive step. It just needs to be clear. If your goal is to get in shape, then your one goal today might be to complete your workout. no matter what. If your goal is to grow a business, then maybe today's focus is to finish a client proposal. If your goal is to improve your skills, maybe your focus is to study and master one topic. Whatever it is, pick it, write it down, and keep it in front of you. When you focus on one goal, you reduce stress. You stop trying to prove you can do everything and start proving you can do what matters. That shift changes your self-image. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, who finishes, who builds momentum one step at a time. Success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. And when you live with that mindset, you stop wasting time. You stop falling for distraction. You don't need a long list of tasks to feel productive. You just need to complete the right task. That's where the power is. And here's the truth. Choosing one goal forces you to make decisions. It forces you to ask, what's most important right now? What is aligned with my long-term vision? What will move the needle? That level of thinking builds discipline. It teaches you how to ignore the noise and pay attention to your direction. Each time you follow through on that one goal, you build trust with yourself. You begin to believe that you are capable of showing up, of focusing, of producing results. That trust is the foundation of self-confidence. Most people don't lack ability. They lack belief. But belief grows every time you follow through on what you said you'd do. You don't need to wait for a perfect plan or the right time. You just need one clear goal for today. Something you can control. Something you can complete. That goal becomes your reason to move with purpose. It becomes your guide when distractions show up. It becomes your reminder that success is built by people who take action daily. Now, when you choose that goal, don't change it halfway through the day. Don't get pulled into something else because it feels easier or more exciting. Stick to what you committed to. The power of focus is only real when it's consistent. Jumping from one goal to another will keep you busy, but leave you empty. Stay locked in. One goal per day may not sound like much, but think about what happens over time. One meaningful action completed every day means 30 completed actions in a month. That's 30 steps forward. That's 30 wins. That's how progress is made. That's how results pile up. It's not about being perfect. You don't need to crush everything. You just need to do the one thing you promised yourself you'd do. That habit becomes your system. That structure becomes your rhythm. You begin to see your life changing, not because you did everything, but because you did the right things over and over again. Every day you face choices, and those choices either bring you closer to success or keep you stuck in place. The more goals you chase in one day, the more your energy gets split, the more your mind stays cluttered. But when you choose just one, you clear the fog, you simplify the challenge, and because of that, you win more often. Most people don't suffer from laziness. They suffer from a lack of direction. One clear goal solves that. It gives you a reason to act, a reason to stay focused, a reason to push forward. It tells your mind what matters most and keeps you from chasing too many things that don't. You don't need to impress anyone with how much you're doing. What matters is whether or not you're getting results, and results come from completing important work, not from looking busy. You get more done when you focus on less. That's the paradox. The less you try to do, the more you actually accomplish. If what you're doing is what truly matters, there will always be more to do. There will always be more tasks, more demands, more distraction. But your responsibility is to decide what gets your attention. Success demands focus. Success rewards clarity. And it always starts with knowing exactly what you want from today, then doing everything you can to make it happen. When your life starts feeling too complex, too rushed, too chaotic, come back to this one habit. Focus on one clear goal every single day. That's how you slow the chaos. That's how you rise above the noise. That's how you build a life that works. Number 3, eliminate distractions that steal your time and focus. There's nothing more damaging to your growth than wasted attention. If you want to attract success in your life, you have to treat your time and focus like they are limited resources. Because they are, you don't have an endless supply of energy. You don't get more hours than the next person. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is often how they manage what interrupts them. Distractions aren't always loud. Sometimes they look like small things. A quick message, a random video, checking something for just a second. But those seconds add up. You don't lose your progress overnight. You lose it in the small decisions you make every day that pull your attention away from what matters most. If you're constantly switching tasks, you're never really present with any of them. Your brain has to restart every time you change focus. That costs energy. That wastes time. And even if you're working hard, the truth is, you're not working smart. You're not giving your full ability to anything. And when you split your focus, you reduce your power. The first step to eliminating distractions is getting honest about what's pulling you away from your goals. You have to look at your environment and ask yourself, what's stealing your attention? Is it your phone, your inbox, social media, background noise, multitasking? Be real about it. Because until you identify the problem, you can't fix it. You can't afford to live in constant interruption mode. Every time you get pulled into something unrelated, you delay your progress. You trade your priorities for someone else's urgency. And over time, that becomes your habit. Reacting instead of choosing. If you're not careful, you end up building someone else's dreams instead of your own. The way to take control is to create space for deep work. Set boundaries that protect your most focused time. That might mean turning off notifications, putting your phone in another room, or letting people know when you're unavailable. This isn't about isolation. It's about protection. You're protecting your most valuable hours from noise, clutter, and chaos. It's also about knowing when you're most productive. There are hours in your day when your mind is sharper, your thinking is clearer. Use that time for your most important work. Don't waste it checking feeds or flipping through meaningless tasks. Get to the real thing, the work that counts, the work that takes focus, discipline, and full engagement. You also have to train your mind to stay in one place longer. Our attention span has been shrinking, not because we're incapable, but because we're constantly feeding it distractions. The more you interrupt yourself, the harder it becomes to concentrate. But the opposite is also true. The more you build focus, the stronger it gets. You won't always feel like focusing. Distractions are tempting for a reason. They give you a quick escape. They offer comfort, but that comfort comes with a price. You might feel better for a moment, but long term, you're left with regret. The work didn't get done. The goal didn't move forward. The opportunity passed you by. And don't think that all distractions come from outside. Some of them come from within. Overthinking, doubting yourself, starting something and stopping halfway through. Mental clutter is just as dangerous as digital noise. You have to learn to quiet the unnecessary thoughts. Remind yourself why you started. Focus on what needs to happen next, not on everything that could go wrong. There's no secret formula for avoiding distractions. It comes down to discipline. Every time you choose focus over noise, you're building your future. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to what does. But it takes practice. It takes repetition. It takes honesty. Sometimes you have to be willing to be bored before you can be brilliant. Not every moment of deep work feels exciting. Some days feel slow, but that's where results come from. In the quiet, focused effort that no one sees but you. That's where your edge comes from. Not in doing more, but in doing what matters, without interruption. Start small. Give yourself 30 minutes without checking your phone. Build that into 60, then 90. Teach your brain that it can stay on track. You don't need to respond to every message immediately. You don't need to be available all the time. You need to be effective. That's what brings results. If you're serious about building a life of success, you have to treat distractions as threats, not just inconveniences. Threats. They rob you of time, energy, momentum, and progress. 1 minute stolen by distraction may not seem like much, but multiply that by every day, every week, and you've lost months of growth without realizing it. Success isn't just about doing great things. It's about doing the right things without letting your attention get hijacked. You have the power to eliminate most of the noise in your life, but only if you choose to. You have to want it enough. You have to decide that your goal matters more than your craving for temporary relief. Build systems that help you stay focused. Use timers. Use reminders. Do whatever it takes to keep your mind clear and locked in on the task that counts. And when distractions try to sneak in, remind yourself of what's at stake. Your time is valuable. Your energy is limited. And your future depends on how you use both. Nobody becomes great by accident. They get there by mastering small moments, one by one. And one of the most important habits you'll ever build is the ability to eliminate what doesn't matter. Not just once, every day, until it becomes natural. Until you don't even think about picking up your phone during work time. Until you don't feel the need to check every notification. Until focus becomes part of who you are. Keep your space clear. Keep your mind sharp. Keep your priorities visible. That's how you stay ahead. Not by doing more, but by wasting less. The more distractions you remove, the more power you regain. And that power is what creates momentum. That momentum is what carries you forward. Not in circles, but in the direction that matters. Number 4. Surround yourself with disciplined and driven people. If you want to change your life, start by changing the people you keep around you. The environment you place yourself in daily shapes the way you think, the way you behave, and the standards you live by. You might not notice it right away, but the attitudes, habits, and focus of those around you are quietly influencing what you believe is possible. When you spend time with people who are serious about their growth, you start to take your own life more seriously. You feel the pressure to rise, to match their effort, to step up. Being around people who are disciplined reminds you that results don't come from excuses. They come from structure, from intention, from doing what needs to be done, even when it's not easy. Driven people carry energy with them. You can feel it when they talk. You can see it in how they move. They don't waste time complaining, and they don't sit around hoping. They work, they think, they execute. If you're in their presence long enough, that mindset starts to rub off on you. It shifts your inner voice. It challenges your patterns. It wakes you up. You don't grow in isolation. You grow in the company of people who won't let you settle. People who won't let you slack off, who won't nod along when you say you'll try someday. You need people around you who ask for more, not because they're trying to control you, but because they see what you're capable of, and they won't pretend they don't. It's not about surrounding yourself with perfect people. It's about surrounding yourself with people who have standards, people who value their time, people who don't chase comfort, but pursue purpose. These are the people who show up early, who finish what they start, who don't need applause to keep moving. Their consistency teaches you more than any book or course. If you're around people who waste their time, chances are you'll waste yours too. If the people close to you never aim higher, you'll start to believe that aiming higher doesn't matter. You'll begin to confuse staying the same with being loyal. That's danger. You're not being loyal to your friends when you shrink to keep them comfortable. You're betraying yourself. Start paying attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do they energize you, or do they drain you? Do they inspire you, or do they distract you? That feeling you get after a conversation, that tells you a lot. If you walk away clearer, stronger, more committed, that's someone you want in your corner. If you walk away feeling scattered, tired, or numb, you need to question why you're giving them access to your space. Driven people don't have time to entertain drama. They don't sit around talking about what others are doing. They're too focused on building, on growing, on pushing their own limit. And when you get around that kind of energy, you start to realize how much time you've been spending on things that don't matter. You begin to raise your expectations, not just for others, but for yourself. It's easy to stay stuck when everyone around you is also stuck. That's why so many people never move forward. They live in circles of comfort, surrounded by people who reinforce their excuses. But the moment you step into a group where progress is normal, where high standards are expected, everything shifts. You begin to feel out of place when you're not growing. That discomfort is a gift. Disciplined people value routine. They understand the power of habit. Being around them will show you the importance of the little things, how they plan, how they think ahead, how they take care of their health, how they control their schedule. They don't leave their life to chance. They build it, piece by piece. You have to be intentional about who you spend time with. Stop thinking that you can stay committed to your goals while spending your days with people who aren't committed to anything. That conflict will tear you down. It will leave you tired, confused, and off track. Your environment must reflect your ambitions. Sometimes that means letting go of people who once felt close. It's hard, but it's necessary. You can still love someone and know they're not right for the future you're building. Growth requires space. And it often requires distance from the patterns that once kept you comfortable. Look for people who have already built what you're trying to build. Learn from them. Watch them. Study their decisions. Ask them questions. If they're serious people, they won't mind sharing what they've learned, because they understand how valuable it is to pass that mindset on to someone who's ready. And if you can't find those people close to you right away, seek them out. Go where they gather. Read their work. Watch how they move. Study how they think. Let their discipline become your example. Until you find your own voice, your own rhythm, your own standard. Your circle matters more than you think. You can only rise so far when you're constantly pulled down by people who don't want to move. But when you're surrounded by people who are running towards something with fire in their eyes, you find the strength to keep going, even on days when it's hard. You don't have to have hundreds of people, just a few strong ones, just a few who push you, who challenge your thinking, who call you out when you're drifting. Keep those people close. Stay connected. Build with them. Celebrate with them. Learn from them. Every conversation, every interaction, every shared moment either builds you or breaks your focus. Be smart about where you stand. Be clear about where you're going. Make sure the people around you want that kind of life too. Not just in words, in action. You get one shot at building something real with your time here. Don't spend it with people who keep making excuses. Find those who are building something that matters, and build alongside them. Watch how quickly your standards rise when you no longer accept anything less. Number 5. Keep promises you make to yourself every day. One of the most powerful things you can do in your life is to become a person who follows through on their own word. Not to impress others, not to earn praise, but because you know your word matters, especially the promises you make to yourself. When no one is watching, that's where confidence begins. That's where self-respect is built. Most people don't realize that the way they treat themselves in private is what shapes how they carry themselves in public. When you constantly break your own promises, you slowly train your mind to doubt everything you say. You say you'll wake up early, but you don't. You say you'll eat better, but you quit. You say you'll work on your goals, but you postpone it again. That pattern chips away at your belief. It weakens your mindset and keeps you stuck in hesitation. But when you say something to yourself and you do it, even if it's small, that's power. You begin to trust that your words aren't empty. You prove to yourself that you have control. Not over the world, but over your own behavior. That's where strength grows. You don't need to make big dramatic promises. What you need is to start with small commitments and actually honor them. If you say you'll finish a task today, do it. If you say you'll avoid distractions for the next hour, stick with it. These are simple everyday choices, but they carry weight. They build a foundation, and every day you follow through, that foundation gets stronger. It's easy to lie to yourself. It's easy to give in, to postpone, to justify. But those easy choices lead to hard outcomes. The more you break promises to yourself, the more you begin to feel disconnected. You look at your goals and dreams and wonder why they always feel out of reach. The answer often isn't that you don't know how. It's that you don't follow through on what you already said you would do. Keeping your word to yourself creates internal alignment. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions begin to match. That alignment gives you clarity. It gives you calm. You no longer feel the weight of unfinished intentions dragging behind you. You move cleaner. You think clearer. You act with purpose. And this isn't about being perfect. Everyone stumbles. Everyone has off days. But when you break a promise, own it. Don't brush it off or pretend it didn't matter. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and do better the next time. Because the goal is to become someone whose own word means something. That kind of person doesn't rely on motivation. They rely on commitment. When you treat your promises to yourself like contracts, your whole life begins to shift. You stop waiting to feel ready. You stop depending on outside pressure. You become self-directed. You take initiative. You show up. Not because someone told you to, but because you told yourself to. And you don't break that agreement. People talk a lot about building self-confidence, but they forget the real source. Confidence doesn't come from compliments. It comes from action. It comes from saying, "I'll do it," and then doing it. Not once, but repeatedly. When you build that kind of track record with yourself, your voice gets stronger. Your presence gets more solid. You stop apologizing for your goals and start owning them. You don't need more motivation. You need more discipline in honoring your own word. If you said you were going to study for an hour, then study for an hour. If you said you were going to move your body today, then move. It's not about how big the promise is. It's about how serious you are about keeping it. The way you treat yourself in these moments sets the tone for your identity. Are you someone who follows through, or someone who finds excuses? That decision is made daily. And the more often you choose action over delay, the more you step into the kind of person you want to become. Start writing your promises down. Make them visible. Remind yourself throughout the day, not because you'll forget, but because it keeps your focus sharp. It reminds you that your time has a direction, not just motion. You're not just staying busy, you're staying aligned. There's something powerful about ending a day, knowing you kept your word to yourself. That feeling stays with you. It builds momentum. You begin to crave that sense of completion. That's how you start stacking wins, not through shortcuts, but through daily follow-through. When you look in the mirror, what matters is whether or not you're proud of how you showed up. Did you do what you said you'd do? Did you keep that small agreement with yourself? That answer shapes your self-image. That answer shapes your future. The truth is, most of the world will forget what you promised them, but you won't forget what you promised yourself. Those broken agreements live in your mind. They become doubt. They become hesitation. But the ones you honor, they become fuel. They become belief. They remind you that you're capable, not in theory, but in real tested action. Every morning you wake up, you get another chance to show yourself that your promises mean something. Don't let that chance go to waste. Take it seriously. Even if the world doesn't see the effort, you will. And that's enough to start changing everything. Number 6, learn something new and apply it immediately. Most people spend their entire lives gathering information, but never turning it into action. They read books, watch videos, take courses, yet nothing changes. Why? Because learning without applying is just entertainment. It feels productive, but it doesn't move your life forward. If you want to grow, if you want to attract success, you must take what you learn and put it to use immediately. Learning something new every day opens your mind. It gives you fresh ideas, new ways to think, better ways to solve problems. But if you stop there, you're just filling your mind, not sharpening it. Real growth happens when you test what you learn. When you apply it to your goals, your work, your life. That's when it sticks. That's when it matters. You don't need to learn everything at once. In fact, trying to do too much at once only leads to confusion. What you need is one insight, one strategy, one idea, and then take it into your life and work it. Test it, adjust it, practice it, make it part of your behavior. That's how you turn knowledge into results. There's a huge difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Plenty of people can tell you how to be successful. Fewer people can show you through their action. You want to be one of the few who applies, not one of the many who only consumes. That mindset sets you apart. That habit builds a new level of effectiveness. Success is attracted to those who use what they know. You don't need 100 lessons. You need one good idea, well executed. You need to move quickly from learning into action. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because when you apply something immediately, you shorten the gap between understanding and mastery. You start building skill, not just memory. Make it your mission every day to ask yourself, what can I learn today that will help me improve? And the next question should always be, how can I use this right now? That's the cycle that turns ordinary people into extraordinary performers. That's the discipline that builds momentum over time. If you read something that inspires you, act on it. If you hear advice that makes sense, apply it. If you discover a new method or strategy, use it in your next step. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't tell yourself you'll apply it once you finish learning everything else. That delay is what keeps people stuck. They become professional students of life, but never step into the field. The best way to learn is by doing. When you apply what you've learned, you get feedback. You see what works, what doesn't, where you're strong, where you need more growth. That feedback loop sharpens your understanding in a way reading alone never will. It takes the idea from theory to experience. And experience is what transforms you. Even when the action seems small, it matters. If you learn something about communication, try it in your next conversation. If you learn a better way to manage time, apply it to your schedule today. If you discover a better mindset, use it the next time you face a challenge. That's how you start stacking improvements. Not through big moves, but through small actions. Repeat it often. This approach also builds self-respect. When you use what you learn, you start to see real progress. You feel your life shifting. You gain confidence. Not just because you know more, but because you're doing more. Every time you apply something new, you remind yourself that you are a person of action. You are someone who grows. And don't worry about mastering everything instantly. Application isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. The moment you use something new, you set a new standard for yourself. You take control of your development. You stop being passive. You stop waiting. You become the kind of person who moves. People will notice the difference. They won't just hear you talk about growth. They'll see it in the way you carry yourself, in the results you produce, in the way you think and act. Because applied knowledge changes who you are. It shapes your habits. It raises your standards. It sharpens your direction. You also save time this way. Instead of collecting endless ideas and forgetting most of them, you focus on what you can use now. That clarity cuts through the noise. You stop wasting energy, chasing every new method, and you focus on what's relevant to your current season. You don't need everything. You need what's useful, and you need to act on it without delay. The world rewards people who execute. The person who reads 10 books and does nothing will always fall behind the one who reads one and applies it completely. It's not about how much you know. It's about what you do with what you know. Learning without applying leads to frustration. You begin to feel like you're growing, when really, you're just busy. Make it a rule. If you learn something that could help you, use it today. Don't file it away. Don't wait until you feel ready. Use it. Let it challenge you. Let it stretch, even if it feels awkward at first. You'll learn faster by doing than you ever will by studying in silence. And the more you apply, the more curious you become. When you see the impact of a new idea in action, you want more. You get hungry to learn because you've seen how much it can change things. When it's put to use, that hunger keeps you alive. That mindset keeps you moving. One idea, one lesson, one insight. That's all it takes to shift your direction. But it only works if you act. Turn learning into doing. Turn knowledge into progress. Turn today into something that pushes your future forward. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you move ahead. That's how you stop waiting and start building. Number 7. Show up on time and be fully prepared. Showing up on time is more than just a habit. It's a statement about your character. When you commit to a time, you're telling yourself and others that your word matters. Punctuality is one of the simplest ways to demonstrate responsibility, but it's also one of the most overlooked qualities. Being on time means you respect not only your schedule, but the people and opportunities tied to it. Being late sends a message, whether you realize it or not. It says that you don't value the moment or the people involved as much as you should. It can chip away at trust, reliability, and your own sense of control. When you start to miss time, it becomes easier to miss other things. Missed chances, missed deadlines, missed growth. The habit of showing up on time builds the foundation for a life where success feels natural. But showing up on time is only part of the story. You also have to be fully prepared. If you arrive early but unprepared, you're just shifting the problem. Preparation is what makes punctuality powerful. When you come ready, you can engage, contribute, and perform at your best. It reduces stress and builds confidence. You aren't fumbling or guessing. You're clear, focused, and ready to act. Preparation means different things depending on the situation, but it always involves being intentional. It means thinking ahead about what you need, what you'll face, and what you want to accomplish. It means doing the work before the moment arrives. If you have a meeting, prepare your points. If you have a presentation, practice. If you have a project, plan your steps. Preparation eliminates chaos and uncertainty. When you commit to showing up on time and prepared, you take control of your life. You set yourself apart from those who wait until the last minute or who scramble to catch up. That control translates into calm. You walk into situations confident, not worried. You speak with clarity because you know what you're talking about. You make decisions without hesitation because you've already done the work. Being punctual and prepared also shows respect for yourself. It means you care about your time and energy. When you don't prepare, you waste both. You end up feeling overwhelmed, scattered, and out of sync. But when you invest time in preparation, you get that time back multiplied. Your work goes smoother, your interactions improve, and your results increase. Many people underestimate how much punctuality and preparation influence opportunity. Doors open for people who show up ready. Leaders notice those who consistently arrive early and know their stuff. Success often comes down to these small habits that accumulate over time. They aren't flashy, but they are reliable and effective. When you practice this consistently, you create momentum. People begin to rely on you. you become someone others can count on. That reputation is powerful. It can lead to more responsibilities, bigger projects, and stronger relationships. Your commitment to showing up ready influences how others see you and how you see yourself. This habit also trains your discipline and focus. Planning your arrival time forces you to organize your day differently. Preparing requires you to prioritize and manage your time better. You begin to recognize the importance of deadlines and the value of anticipation. You learn to take ownership of your performance before anyone else notices. If you want to raise your standards, start here. Make it non-negotiable that you will be on time every time. Plan to arrive early, so you're not just on time, but ahead. Use the extra minutes to center yourself. Review your plan and calm any nerves. That preparation mentally shifts you into a higher gear, ready to take on the challenge. Remember that showing up on time is a form of respect, not just for others but for your own goals. When you honor your commitments in this way, you create a habit that supports every other area of your life. Punctuality and preparation build momentum that carries you through setbacks, distractions, and doubts. Some days will test your ability to show up ready. Life throws unexpected challenges. Plans change. That's when preparation pays off. Because you've already done the work, you can adapt without losing your footing. You stay composed under pressure because your readiness isn't accidental. It's a habit. Preparation also protects you from regret. How often do people look back wishing they'd done more before the moment arrived? That frustration disappears when you consistently arrive prepared. You know you gave your best effort. You know you didn't leave things to chance. That peace of mind is priceless. Showing up on time and fully prepared creates a positive feedback loop. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. The more you see the results, the more motivated you become to keep that standard high. It's a cycle of growth that few people tap into because it requires discipline, but the payoff is huge. Every time you keep this commitment to yourself, you build self-trust. You prove that you are reliable, not just to others but to yourself. And that self-trust becomes the backbone of confidence. When you trust yourself to be on time and prepared, you walk through life with a steady pace. You're not frantic, not rushed, not second-guessing. This habit becomes your edge. When everyone else is scrambling, you are calm and ready. When distractions pull others off course, you maintain your direction. That's the kind of consistency that leads to breakthrough. It may not be glamorous, but it's powerful. No matter your goals or where you're headed, start by respecting your time and commitments. Showing up on time and being fully prepared is one of the most effective ways to demonstrate discipline, responsibility, and professionalism. It opens doors and builds bridges that otherwise remain closed. Make this your daily standard. Hold yourself accountable to it. You'll find that your life gains a new rhythm, one that aligns your actions with your ambition. Your days become more productive, your relationships stronger, and your mindset sharper. The simple act of being on time and prepared shows the world you are serious about your success. And more importantly, it shows you can meet the demands of your goals with readiness and resolve. That's how you move beyond good intentions and step into real achievement. Number 8, take full responsibility for all your actions. Success starts with ownership. When you take full responsibility for everything you do, you gain power over your life. It means you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck. You recognize that every choice, every action, and every reaction is yours. That's a tough realization for many because it removes excuses and forces you to face reality head on. Taking responsibility means no more pointing fingers. When things go wrong, instead of looking for who to blame, you look inward. You ask yourself what role you played. What could you have done differently? This mindset shifts your focus from problems to solutions. Instead of being stuck in frustration, you become proactive. You find ways to improve. When you own your actions, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You realize that the only thing you can control is yourself. This understanding is freeing because it puts the power back in your hands. Your future no longer depends on external forces, but on your decisions and efforts. People who refuse responsibility often waste time complaining, making excuses, and avoiding the hard work. But those who accept responsibility accept the challenge. They know that success requires action, discipline, and constant adjustment. They don't wait for conditions to be perfect. They move forward anyway, because they know their results depend on their choices. Responsibility is also about being honest with yourself. It means recognizing when you're wrong, admitting mistakes, and learning from them. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Every failure becomes an opportunity to grow. When you take ownership of what happened, you stop repeating the same errors because you analyze what led to them. Owning your actions means understanding that you are the architect of your life. Your habits, your work ethic, your mindset, all of these are created by the decisions you make daily. If you want different results, you have to make different choices. You can't expect the same old actions to produce new outcomes. This mindset removes helplessness. When you take responsibility, you become solution-focused. You look for ways to fix problems instead of just feeling frustrated. You build resilience because you know setbacks are part of the process, but how you respond makes all the difference. Taking responsibility also strengthens your character. It builds integrity because you no longer hide behind excuses. You become someone people can trust because you own your words and deeds. That reliability opens doors in every area of life. Relationships, career, personal growth. The habit of owning your actions makes you more self-aware. You begin to notice patterns that hold you back. You catch yourself before making poor choices. You become more mindful of how your behavior affects your goals. This awareness leads to better decision-making and sharper focus. When you accept full responsibility, you don't wait for permission or approval. You take initiative. You create your opportunities. You don't depend on luck or others' generosity. Your progress is in your hands. That kind of control feels empowering and fuels motivation. Being responsible means not blaming your past either. Many people feel stuck because they think their history defines them. But your past is just information. What matters is how you use it today. You can't change what happened, but you can change your response. Responsibility gives you that choice. This approach also helps you avoid bitterness and resentment. When you blame others, you carry anger that weighs you down. When you accept responsibility, you free yourself from those feelings. You focus on growth and solutions instead of grudges. Taking full responsibility means showing up for yourself every day. It means following through on your commitments, even when it's difficult. It means pushing through obstacles because you know you are accountable for the outcome. No one else can do your work or live your life for you. Your mindset shifts from victim to creator. That's a powerful transformation. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making things happen. You become the leader of your own story instead of a passenger. This habit also builds confidence. When you know you can handle the consequences of your choices, you feel stronger. You trust yourself to face challenges and keep going. You stop doubting your ability to succeed because you've proven to yourself that you're responsible and capable. Every decision you make is an opportunity to practice responsibility. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Even small actions matter. How you spend your time, how you respond to feedback, how you manage your emotions, these all add up. Responsibility is a daily practice, not a one-time event. When you embrace this mindset, you stop wasting energy on things outside your control. You focus on what you can influence, your attitude, your effort, your decisions. That focus leads to productivity, growth, and results. Taking full responsibility creates freedom. It's counterintuitive, Because many think freedom means doing whatever you want, but real freedom comes from control. Control over your choices and actions. That control shapes your destiny and builds success. If you want to attract success, start by owning everything about your life. Refuse to blame. Accept your role in every outcome. Use setbacks as lessons. Take action knowing you are the one steering the ship. That's how you build a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment. Your success story begins with responsibility. It's the foundation that supports every goal you pursue. Without it, even talent and opportunity fall short. With it, you become unstoppable. You become the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Number 9. Stay consistent, even when motivation disappears completely. The truth about success is that it doesn't come from feeling motivated every day. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you'll feel fired up, ready to conquer everything. Other days, you might wake up tired, distracted, or even doubtful. What separates those who achieve from those who don't is the ability to keep going, even when motivation is gone. Consistency is what builds results over time. It's the small, repeated actions that add up. You might not always feel inspired, but your commitment to showing up, doing the work, and moving forward is what creates progress. You don't wait for motivation, you act anyway, because you know this is what success requires. When motivation disappears, it's easy to make excuses. You tell yourself you'll start again tomorrow. You think one missed day won't matter. But those missed moments pile up. One day turns into a week, a month, even years lost. The hard truth is that success belongs to those who develop habits beyond motivation. Consistency means building discipline. It means following through even when you don't feel like it. It means trusting that your future self will thank you for the work you do today. Every time you push through, you strengthen that muscle. You teach yourself that discomfort is temporary and results are permanent. There will be days when you're physically or mentally exhausted. Days when distractions pull at you. Days when everything seems to go wrong. Those are the moments that test your commitment. What you do in those moments defines your future. You either surrender or keep going. Consistency chooses to keep going. A key to staying consistent is having a clear why. When you know why you started, it anchors you when motivation fades. That purpose gives you fuel beyond feelings. It reminds you that your goals are bigger than the ups and downs. It keeps you moving forward when emotions aren't enough. Another important factor is breaking your work into small, manageable pieces. When motivation is low, doing less can help you keep the momentum. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on showing up for a few minutes. The simple act of starting triggers momentum. Once you begin, you often find energy returning. Tracking your progress also supports consistency. When you see how far you've come, even on hard days, it reminds you that your effort matters. It builds confidence. It creates a sense of achievement that motivates you to keep moving. Celebrate these small wins because they are the building blocks of success. Building routines helps automate consistency. When your actions become habits, you don't rely on motivation. Your routine carries you through. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop needing a push because your behavior is wired to support your goals. Routines make success predictable and achievable. Accountability is another tool to maintain consistency. When others are aware of your goals and progress, you feel a natural push to keep going. You don't want to let them down or yourself. Sharing your commitment adds external support that complements your internal drive. Sometimes you need to adjust your approach to stay consistent. Life changes, priorities shift, and flexibility is necessary. But adjusting doesn't mean quitting. It means finding a new way to keep the habit alive. Even if it looks different than before, staying engaged with your goal is the key. When motivation disappears, your mindset is crucial. You must decide that showing up is not optional. It's part of your identity. You become someone who follows through, no matter what. This mindset creates resilience. It prepares you to handle setbacks, fatigue, and distractions without giving up. Remember that motivation is a tool, not the foundation. It's like a spark that ignites your fire. But consistency is the fuel that keeps it burning. If you rely only on motivation, your fire will burn out quickly. If you build consistency, you create a flame that lasts. Consistency builds trust with yourself. When you prove you can stick to your plan, day after day, your confidence grows. You stop doubting your ability to finish what you start. This trust changes your relationship with your goals. You move from hoping to knowing. Many people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. Consistency is about the long game. It's about small actions repeated over time that produce extraordinary results. This perspective helps you stay patient and committed, even when progress feels slow. Staying consistent also builds momentum. Once you get into a rhythm, each day feels easier. The effort you put in creates energy that propels you forward. You build habits that become part of your identity, and that's where lasting change happens. Challenges and obstacles will always come. That's guaranteed. What's not guaranteed is how you respond. Consistency is your response. It's the habit of moving forward, no matter what. It's the decision to keep your word to yourself when everything else feels uncertain. Success is rarely about a single heroic moment. It's about showing up day after day, making progress, even when the spark fades. That kind of persistence is powerful. It builds strength, character, and results that last. Make consistency your greatest ally. Train yourself to act even when you don't feel like it. Create routines. Track your progress and remind yourself of your purpose. Use accountability to stay on course. Break tasks into small steps. Build trust with yourself through daily commitment. When motivation disappears completely, consistency will carry you through. It's the steady engine that drives your success forward. The person who stays consistent wins. The person who quits waits. Choose to win every day. Number 10. Track your progress and fix what's not working. To attract success in life, you need to know where you stand. Tracking your progress is the compass that keeps you on course. Without it, you're wandering in the dark, hoping your efforts will lead somewhere. But when you measure what you do, you get clarity about what's effective and what's not. That clarity is essential because it guides your next steps and prevents wasted effort. Tracking progress means paying attention to the details. It's not enough to say, "I'm working hard." You have to ask, am I moving forward? Are my actions producing results? That means collecting data about your efforts, whether it's sales numbers, hours spent learning, habits completed, or milestones reached. These numbers and facts give you real insight. When you monitor your progress consistently, you develop a deeper understanding of your journey. You notice patterns and trends. You see which strategies are helping you advance and which ones are holding you back. This awareness allows you to adjust your approach rather than blindly continuing down the same path. Fixing what's not working requires honesty. It means facing uncomfortable truths. Sometimes the methods you're using aren't delivering the results you expected. That doesn't mean failure. It means opportunity. It's a chance to improve, to pivot, to try something different. Without tracking, you might miss this chance and waste time on ineffective efforts. Making corrections isn't about abandoning your goals. It's about refining your tactics. Think of it as tuning an instrument. You want your actions to be in harmony with your objectives. When something sounds off, you adjust the strings. Tracking progress tells you where the discord is, so you can make your efforts resonate with success. This process requires a mindset of continuous improvement. You accept that you won't get everything right on the first try. You see setbacks as feedback, not defeat. Every correction moves you closer to your goal. That attitude keeps you engaged and motivated, even when the road gets tough. Accountability tools help in tracking progress. Journals, apps, spreadsheets. These are practical ways to record what you do and analyze it later. Choose a method that fits your style and stick with it. The key is consistency in tracking, so that you have accurate information to work with. Feedback from others can also be valuable. Sometimes we're blind to our own mistakes or weaknesses. Seeking advice or honest opinions from mentors, peers, or coaches adds perspective. Use that input to fine-tune your effort. But remember, tracking your own progress remains the foundation of improvement. Regularly reviewing your progress creates a rhythm. Set aside time weekly or monthly to evaluate your results. Ask yourself what's working, what's not. What can I change? This habit builds discipline and keeps you focused. It prevents you from drifting off course or becoming complacent. Tracking progress reveals your strengths too. It highlights the areas where you excel and can build. Recognizing your strengths boosts confidence and guides you in allocating your energy effectively. You don't have to fix everything. Focus on the parts that truly impact your success. Sometimes fixing what's not working means letting go of unproductive habits, beliefs, or routine. That can be challenging because change requires effort and discomfort. But holding on to what doesn't serve you only slows down progress. Tracking progress makes those dead ends visible, pushing you to make necessary shifts. Be mindful not to get stuck in perfectionism when tracking progress. The goal is not to be flawless but to be aware and adaptable. Use the information to make better decisions, not to criticize yourself harshly. Growth happens with patience and persistence, not pressure. Tracking progress also helps manage expectations. It shows you how far you've come and how far you still need to go. This perspective keeps you grounded and motivated. It prevents burnout by allowing you to celebrate small wins and recognize milestones along the way. When you fix what's not working, you save time and energy. You stop repeating mistakes and start investing in actions that yield returns. This efficiency accelerates your path to success. It allows you to focus on what truly matters instead of spinning your wheels. Success is not a straight line. There will be detours, obstacles, and moments of doubt. Tracking progress equips you to navigate these challenges intelligently. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond strategically. You stay in control of your journey. Ultimately, tracking your progress and fixing what's not working is an act of responsibility. It shows that you care about your goals and are willing to put in the effort required. It's a commitment to yourself and your future. This discipline separates those who dream from those who achieve. Each day when you record your efforts and review your results, you're investing in your growth. Each adjustment you make brings you closer to the life you want. Tracking progress is not just about numbers. It's about creating a clear path forward and walking it with purpose. Make tracking progress a daily habit. Don't wait until you feel lost or discouraged. Use it as a tool for clarity and confidence. Use it as a way to celebrate wins and learn from setbacks. Use it as a compass that guides you through uncertainty. In the end, success is built on small, consistent improvements. Tracking progress reveals those opportunities. Fixing what's not working keeps you moving in the right direction. Together, they create unstoppable momentum.